Clark is currently hurt. They are set to face off against the Dallas Wings possibly in the next hour or so. But there is some headlines, man. This time it's in regards to one of her teammates, and that is Natasha Howard. Now, Natasha Howard really ain't been in the news too much, man. She's been balling out. It looked like she's been staying out the way. She don't say too much online either to make the headlines, but one thing I can say, this time she definitely did.
Did Natasha Howard really just say that about Caitlin Clark? Because the internet is in total chaos. The WNBA Twitter is having a full-blown meltdown. Fans are throwing popcorn at their screens like it's a live roast, and any filter Howard once had is clearly gone. Now she's right at the center of a drama storm so wild. Bravo might be trying to buy the rights. So what exactly was said? And why is everyone losing their minds? Grab your seat. This saga is hotter than a mic accidentally left on during a commercial break. Time to dive into the madness.
Were you excited to play with Caitlin?
I was.
Yeah. So talk about that. Your first impressions of her?
My first impression of her when I first seen her, I'm like, dang, like, this is what everybody's talking about right here. Yeah. This girl right here. Just getting to know Caitlin more and stuff like that. Like, she reminded me of a little sister. Like just letting her know that you don't have to do everything. Like you have to do in Iowa. Like you have great teammates and phenomenal players around you that could take that weight off your shoulder. You don't have to do everything. Like we expect you to knock down those clutch shots. Like that's what we expect you to do. But like overall, like you don't have to do everything. Like you don't. Like let us give us some of your pressure too.
When Caitlin Clark got jumped in broad daylight, like a WNBA mashup of Mean Girls and Royal Rumble, guess who was standing close enough to help but suddenly seemed to forget how to use her legs? Natasha Howard. Front row seat, full view, instant reaction, absolutely nothing.
This current clip right here is going viral. Correlation stated they all got to play better. That's nice to say, but we haven't seen that yet. Depression CCAKG stated Natasha Howard on being Caitlin Clark team.
It was like watching someone drop their video game controller in the middle of a boss fight and just stare blankly while the main character got wrecked. Caitlin needed backup, and Natasha responded with a whole lot of not my problem energy. And this wasn't a case of showing up late. She was standing right there, in prime position to stop the chaos. Maybe throw in a shove, flash some veteran leadership, or at the very least pretend to care.
The Fever are building a winning culture. Even though you're down, even though you're getting physically beat up, because they were being out physicaled, and you still found a way to win. Natasha Howard balled out, and that
Howard stood there like someone watching a soap opera plot twist they secretly wanted to happen. She saw it, processed it, and settled on an expression so blank and neutral it could have been submitted to the UN as a peacekeeping tactic.
A lot of America, Caitlin Clark is the hero, and everyone that flagrantly fouls her, speaks poorly of her, acts like she's not great is the villain, and then vice versa. How big of a part of the story is that when you look at the conflict surrounding Caitlin Clark?
You would have thought that the arrival of this superstar in the WNBA would have been seen as what it is, which is the greatest thing to ever happen to the WNBA. So she arrives, and of course, my thought, a white woman from Iowa in a 74% black league. That's an issue. And I look at the way players like Diana Taurasi, Brianna Stewart, Cheryl Swoops with her flurry of falsehoods, Cheryl Reeve, the Olympic coach, Gina Auriemma, really tried to minimize.
Let's be real. This wasn't just silence. It was the loud kind that says, "Oops, did my envy just show?" Because this wasn't only about letting a teammate get jumped. It was about making it clear Natasha Howard has no interest in protecting the Golden Goose or even pretending to wear the sisterhood badge. And it's not just that moment. This has been brewing for a while. Every game, every possession, it's obvious. Natasha has no plans to feed Caitlin Clark the ball. Zero. You could offer her a bonus, a Netflix series, and a sneaker deal, and she still wouldn't make that pass. You'd get better cooperation from airport Wi-Fi. She'll scan the court, look right at Caitlin wide open, then pivot like she saw a ghost. The ball goes anywhere else. It's not a mistake, it's a pattern. Even Stevie Wonder could see it. Then post-game comes, and Natasha plays along like everything's great. Maybe a smile, a pat on the back. Don't buy it. That's the same energy a cat has before knocking your glass off the table. If NB kept stats, Natasha would be putting up a triple-double.
And now she's saying that she has Caitlin's back. Well, you could have fooled me. And the reason I'm saying that is not because you're not helping her out with advice, you're not being there for practice, you're not giving her nuggets from your, I don't know how long you've been in 14, 15-year league career. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about brass tacks, when the rubber meets the road. When Caitlin getting her head bashed in during the season, I need you to put somebody on the ground. I need you to flagrant foul somebody. I need you to get in somebody.
Let's not pretend we don't see what's happening. Caitlin Clark comes in with the fame, the hype, and the numbers, and suddenly her teammates act like she stole their dreams, and maybe a few sponsorships. Natasha Howard included. If you were expecting teamwork or veteran leadership, you're in the wrong locker room. Natasha's energy isn't just, I won't pass to her. It's, I'd rather take a wild shot over 3 defenders than give Caitlin an open look. And it's not subtle. It's a routine. Dribble, glance at Caitlin, ignore, throw it somewhere pointless. Over and over. Then when the hard fouls come, Natasha doesn't look shocked. She looks satisfied, like she's watching karma do its thing. You can almost hear her thinking, oh no, she got shoved. Anyway.
Be Caitlin Clark's second year, but like the moves they make, the players they brought in reflect a desire to win now. Stephanie White in her first team meeting was open about wanting to have her players show unity. We're going to need to block out the noise. We're going to need to be united throughout, but also they want to win. Like Caitlin Clark, when I asked her point blank at Media Day, what does a successful season look like? She said, quote, a championship. And so like that really is the goal for them. And when they brought in all these players, the other thing that they were missing was playoff experience. And so that is why they brought in Howard, Bonner, and Colson, all of whom have won.
Meanwhile, real teammates, the kind not ruled by jealousy, would have jumped in like WWE tag partners. Elbows up, voices raised, consequences later. But Natasha? She adjusted her ponytail, maybe blinked, and that was it. No courtesy jog, just pure, professional level indifference. Now picture Caitlin Clark. She's getting wrecked, probably coughing up floor polish, and when she looks up, her own teammate is staring at her like she's an expired coupon. That's not a cold shoulder. That's emotional frostbite. From a supposed team leader, it's almost tragic. Instead, she's on a squad where some players seem more invested in quiet protest than actually winning. And fans have noticed. The internet is stockpiling receipts, slow-mo clips, screenshots, play breakdowns. Every time Natasha snubs Caitlin, it's getting archived like a true crime doc. Netflix should be calling any minute.
All right, so as y'all can see, man, the Indiana Fever ended up announcing the status report for tonight's game versus Los Angeles. Caitlin Clark out left groin. Oh, man. Look, that groin is nothing to play with, man. If y'all didn't see how Anthony Davis was taken out this season, well, I guess last season, or whatever the case may be, it just appears out of nowhere. All right, the groin is nothing to play with, man. And, you know, it kind of explains a little bit more why her shot's been off. We can see that she's not 100%. Of course, with the sniffing and, you know, the look like she's out.
That locker room must be thick with tension, like peanut butter. Imagine walking in knowing half your team would rather text their ex than pass you the ball. Caitlin's probably just trying to hoop, wondering how she became the star of a drama she never asked to be in. Caught between side eyes, shade, and silent resentment. Maybe Natasha's allergic to assists, or maybe it's what happens when someone new shows up and outshines you with the whole arena chanting their name. Chemistry? Not even close. Every possession feels like a silent protest, and every time Natasha touches the ball, it's a suspense film. Will she pass? Spoiler, she won't. Not unless physics or Congress makes her.
Crazy to me to see the types of fouls and the lack of calls that are having on them from these refs that the players are doing. They're just straight hacking each other. And like, we wouldn't even allow that like at our kids' games that we go to watch, let alone in the NBA. And it's just wild to me that you have somebody that took stadiums which only had like 7,000 people in them to attend live games to completely packed and tripling the ticket prices. And the way that you thank the player that is doing that is to like jab her in the eye and shove her when she's making shots and all kinds.
Has been impacting the WNBA well before this year. In that way, I do think Caitlin's being used as a pawn. Caitlin didn't bring racism to the WNBA. This has been happening. And that, I think, is what's been such a shock for all of us, that other people are surprised by this. We've been trying to tell you. I would have loved to have shut up and dribble. I would have been loved to have been spoken about just for my play. But nobody ever let us do that. So what happened? We understood that in order to push our league forward, we were going to have to combat these things. And I think, again, I get sad when I talk about this a little bit, in that we're still not talking